Pink eyeshadow is one eyeshadow that gives a baby girl vibe. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're a new subscriber, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button after you watch this video to the end, and make sure you watch this video to the end because here we don't gatekeep. I teach everything makeup, okay? So first off, you start off by cleaning the skin, and I went in with the setting spray, which is an hydrating spray to me, the Mario Badescu hydrating spray. So I will allow that to dry a bit before I go in with my moisturizer, and I'm using the same brand of moisturizer I use in cleaning our skin, which is the simple moisturizer. The next is Embryolisse primer. I will be priming our face and also be moisturizing our face again with this Embryolisse primer, as it does the same job. It primes and it also moisturizes. Okay, so I just use my hand to pat that into our skin, and make sure you blend softly into our skin. Let our skin absorb all the products. Okay, so I use my two fingers to massage the product into our skin and allow our skin to absorb it. Next, I will go ahead to prime again, and I'm using this hydrating primer because we want to give that hydrating look. Okay, so I went in with the hydrating primer. They make hydrating hydro grip primer. Okay, then I pat that into our skin, and this is me using my hand to just tap to see if it's already gripped. It's feeling grippy, sticky. So I went ahead to set the products, the primers that I use. I went ahead to set it with the Mario Badescu spray. Then for um so I noticed some hyperpigmentation around our mouth area, like the our jaw and also under our eyes. So I went ahead to use a darker foundation to cover them up, so that when I'm applying a skin shade of foundation, it will still cover, like that hyperpigmentation won't be that obvious. Okay, so for foundation, I went in with the L'Oreal True Match and the L'Oreal Infallible foundation, and I'll be mixing this foundation with my color palette to get an undertone. So I just applied the red shade from and as you can see from the camera, the one I mixed is matching with a skin because I actually applied the correct shade of foundation by correcting it with my palette to give. So for blush, I'll be using the same color palette, and I picked the peach and the pink shade from there, and I'm applying with a small brush first to retain the pigmentation before I would now go in with a beauty blender. So I just applied on her cheek, and I just part with the brush, to just retain the pigmentation and to lift up her face. So the blush will also add some colors to her face. Okay, so I went in with the beauty sponge I use in applying foundation, but I didn't use the same side. I used the other side of the beauty sponge that is clean. Then I would just pat and blend out the edges without leaving any harsh lines. To brighten our under eyes, I'll be using the e.l.f. concealer to brighten our under eyes. This particular e.l.f. concealer that has this black cover is a mattifying concealer. Okay, so for mattifying concealer, you apply and blend immediately. You don't leave it because it will dry up and you will have breakouts under our eyes. So you see, immediately I applied the concealer, I started blending off one part first before I go into the other part. So you just blend out one side of the eyes, then before you go to the other side of the eyes, because of the concealer, it is mattifying, so it dries up immediately. Okay, I don't want to leave breakouts under eyes. So the next is to dry up the concealer, and I'm using a very soft powder, the MAC mineralized powder, to do that. So I just went in with the MAC mineralized powder in medium golden, and I apply that to dry up the concealer and also to preset her skin. So I'll just be applying that in the areas where I highlighted, and I'm using this powder puff to do that, to blend the areas, to dry up the concealers in the areas where I highlighted. For a full face powder, I'll go in with the airbrush powder. This is a good powder, like it's as its name sounds. It's airbrush, it gives that skin. So I'll just apply that shade because it's a skin shade. I will apply that in the areas where I did not highlight, to dry up the foundation. And I'm using a very fluffy powder to do that. So you just apply powder in the areas where you did not highlight, just the areas where you applied foundation, to dry up the foundation. For our contour, I'm using the MAC Mineralized powder in shade dark. I don't want the contour to be too harsh, so I just do powder contours. In fact, I do more of powder contours for light skin. I don't do liquid contour. I'm not a liquid contour person because I'm kind of a lazy contour person. So I don't do liquid contour except I want to do liquid contour. Okay, so for us to set our skin, to set our face, and also to brighten up our under eyes, furthermore, Urban Beauty setting powder, and I just use the same powder puff. So I reduce the excess of the powder from the powder puff at the back of my hand before I go in to set our skin, because we don't want it too heavy. So, and also to take off crease, are you saying that there's no crease under our eyes? Because of how I did my application. So your application matters a lot. Okay, you have to learn how to apply products. Then I went in with the same dark shade in MAC Mineralized powder to contour her nose, and I started from the head of her brow down to the tip of her nose. So you have to use a very soft brush. So setting the skin first before you contour will give you that smooth surface, so it will allow your brush to move freely on the surface of our skin, because setting powder already set our skin and gave a very smooth dry surface. So I use the same powder to bake on the eyes, to also to give that full coverage under our eyes. Okay, and also to highlight our eyes. Then for our lip moisturizer, to prep our lips for lip stain, I apply the Naya lip balm. Then I will now go into the eyeshadow. So for eyeshadow, we are doing a pink gorgeous look. So pink eyeshadow has a way of giving the body vibe, like a girly vibe kind of. So I went in with the eyeshadow base first, set at the starter, old eyeshadow, also to make our eyeshadow last long all day. Okay, then next I will be using the MAC Mineralized powder in shade dark for a transition shade. I started off with that because it is close to our skin. It's just one shade darker. So for transition shade, you can use powders or eyeshadow that is very close to your skin. Then I picked this brown eyeshadow and I applied at the outer part of our eyes and blended to the crease in a circular motion. So blending in a circular motion will help you to remove harsh lines. You won't be having harsh lines when you blend in a circular motion on your eyeshadow. So I just blended round, and I'm using a small blending brush because of the size of her eyelid. She has a small eyelid space, like her eyelid is not that big, so I'll be using a small blending brush for a kind of eyelid. Then I, to further intense the eyeshadow, to make it more prominent, I went in with a darker shade to smoke out the outer parts of her eyes, and I still used a very small blending brush. Okay, so I just blended that out, the outer part of her eyelid, the lower part of it. So to get that smooth surface, I'll go ahead to use my brush to just blend out the eyeshadow base again to take off those creases. Then I'll go in with the Zulu eyeshadow palette. I've got this eyeshadow palette for a long time, and it's from Juvia's Place eyeshadow. So I'll just apply that on the eyelid. As you can see, her eyelid is smooth, like the eyeshadow base is smooth. So this will help your eyeshadow not to have patches, and it will also further smoothen your eyeshadow. Then to further make the brown shade more prominent, I went in again with the dark brown shade just at the lower outer corner of her eyes, and I blended it into the pink to avoid harsh lines. Okay, so I used the same small brush I used to apply, and I just blend in circular motion. So I didn't extend the dark brown shade into our crease. Okay, so now I'll go ahead to clean the leaves, and I'll be lining the leaves with the Nuban Beauty lip liner. I think this is 03, that's the number. So I just use that to line our lip. This liner is so pigmented, easy to line, Then I went ahead to blend with a brush. Then I went in with a nude shade from the Ava Cosmetics, and the shade is 39. So I just apply very little in the on top of our lip, and I just blend with the brush. So to avoid your lip from breaking, I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it till you guys get it right. Apply little and blend, apply little and blend. Okay, so these lip stains, they are easy, they, like, you can get a full coverage of it if you know how to use it. Like, you can apply till you get the full coverage. Okay, then for the inner part of our lip, to further brighten the nude, I went in with the Egg Eye and Esther lip shade in butterscotch. So I just applied that on top of the pink, on top of the nude I applied earlier. So for eyebrow, I'll go ahead and tint our brows. I'm so sorry, guys, the way I'm bending my head, because I don't want to block you guys views. I don't want you guys to start seeing my head instead of seeing the makeup. So in fact, shooting is not easy. That one is another talk for another day. Creating shoots, like creating looks, in fact filming on its own, it's not easy, guys. Like, I'm just doing this out of passion. That's why I'm here. Okay, so I went in with the eyebrow, I tinted the brows, and I lined with the Beauty Line by Didi. We are using a brow crayon today. We are not using Cara gel liner. Okay, so I just lined eye with the Beauty Line by Didi crayon pencil. This pencil is very pigmented. Okay, it's very pigmented, easy to work with, and it does not bring out oils at the end of the day, because I think you guys used to complain about your eyebrow bringing out oils. This one does not do that. It's matte and it lasts long on the skin, so you can get it. It's highly recommendable. Okay, just that the bad side of it is it doesn't last, it finished on time. So that's the bad side of it. And then I went ahead to highlight her eyebrow, and I'm using the Nuban Beauty concealer in shade 043 to highlight her eyebrow and clean up the brow also. So when I do this, I don't breathe, guys. I hold my breath so that I can control my hands, and you can see how the brow is looking brown. Is looking brown. Okay, then I went ahead to blend. So now I'll go ahead and dry up the concealer, and I'm using the same powder I use for our transition shade, to just dry up the concealer. And now I went in to line our under eyes, a waterline, and I used the Cara gel liner with a small angle brush to line a waterline. So I just extended the under eye, like I just extended the wing a bit because I want her eyes lifted and give that sharp edges. Okay, then I went in back to drag the eyeliner inside. And when you're lining the top of your eyes or your client's eyes, always ensure you hold the eyes to minimize movement of the eyes so that you don't go and injure your clients, because I won't be there when they arrest you. So just make sure you hold it down. Don't press their eye too much. Okay, just hold it a bit softly. Then to smoke out our under eye, to smudge it, I went in with the black eyeshadow from the Ezekiel and Rios palette. I just picked that black eyeshadow and just smudge. Then to apply pigment, I'm using my pigment glue from Sylvie Mark. Then I applied very little. So I told you guys, if you don't want your pigment to break, applied little glue, allow it to dry a bit before you go in with the glue, sorry, with the pigment. So I went in with a pigment from Candy Beauty. I have forgotten the name, honestly, please, I'm so sorry. I think I'll look for the name and drop in the description box. So the pigment glue is like the pigment is like a transparent pigment that you can place on top of any color of eyeshadow, and it will bring out the color of the eyeshadow, like it will be showing the color of the eyeshadow. So for eyelashes, I went into um to first of all measure her eyes before I cut the eyelashes and applied glue. So I just applied a very small eyelash, not too long, because her eye space are quite small. So I went ahead to use my finger to press the eyelash, the false lash and a real eyelash together to avoid the eyelash from falling off. Then now I'll press the setting powder into our skin because they are almost dissolving into our skin. Then I will now go back with my powder to further press it in and to also blend the setting powder, okay, into our skin, and this also will brighten our under eyes. And I'm using this MAC powder shade medium golden. So I use the same powder puff that I used earlier to just further apply powder in the areas where I highlighted only for this particular shade. So guys, if you've watched up to this moment and you're yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do that right away. And thank you for all the love you guys have been showing me on this platform. I really appreciate you guys, okay? I wasn't expecting that, but you guys proved me wrong, okay? So thank you for your love and support. Then now I went ahead to reapply blush, and I used the powder blush this time. I applied the blush and use the powder I use in highlighting her face to just blend round the blush where the demarcation is showing. So after blending the blush, I will now be setting the makeup with the Morphe setting spray. This is a continuous setting spray, and you can do that even after you've applied foundation. You can set. But me, because abeg, product are too expensive this period though. So I just applied after I'm done, and I went in to seal the makeup after the mouth spray have dried on our skin. I sealed it with the Supro seal it spray. So to gloss our lip, I went in with the Fenty lip gloss, a brown lip gloss that match with the lip liner, and I just applied that on top of the lip liner. I didn't apply that all over our lip, just where I lined with the lip liner. So you can see from the video, I'm just using the stick of my brush to just do that. Then I went in with the classic lip gloss, the clear gloss, and I applied on top of our lip, where I applied the nude to brighten, like to gloss the nude. And you know, so to glow her skin, to glow her face, to highlight her face, I went in with a fancy highlighter, and I'm using the shade How Many Carats. So I just applied that on top of her cheek to give that glow, that glowy look. So guys, tell me how this look is. Just drop in the comment section, okay? And if you have other looks you want me to create, drop it in the comment section. If you have questions, drop. Okay, see you in my next video. Bye.